Hey, what's up guys, John here. In the last 30 days, Wells Fargo has committed to mass layoffs.
Wells Fargo laying off hundreds of mortgage bankers this week.
More layoffs are coming to Wells Fargo as 107 Metro employees were laid off last week.
Truist Bank, mass layoffs. TD Bank firing 3,000. Citigroup firing 24,000 employees.
More details leaking out on the massive reorganization underway at Citi, which potentially includes deep job cuts across the board.
And this is all in addition to the 20,000 banking employees that were already fired the first 9 months of the year.
If you look at these 5 banks, they've cut about 20,000 jobs so far this year.
But what if I were to tell you there's a deep reason why they're doing this, that they're not telling us? We don't really know. People think, hey, it's because the economy is getting, very challenged and interest rates are very high and borrowers can't afford the loans and bank deposits are diminishing and this is why they're doing the layoffs. No. That's a small distraction because January 2025, in about 18 months, the entire banking system, as we know it, goes through a change. It's going to flip like a light switch, and they're all getting prepared for it. In this video, I'm going to break it down and show you exactly what's happening to position you and your family for the future of America. Please hit the like button, hit the like button. YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's going on. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer in American history, you're going to need exceptional credit. You're going to need great credit. Go to GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, and a negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So prepare for the S&P to plunge 23% by mid-2024 and the U.S. economy to sink into recession, JP Morgan's top chart guru says. Well, look at what Wells Fargo CEO said yesterday. So this came out December 5th. And this came out December 5th, the same exact time. Wells Fargo CEO warns of severance cost of nearly $1 billion in fourth quarter as layoffs loom. He says we're looking at something like $750 million to a little less than $1 billion in severance in the fourth quarter that we weren't anticipating just because we want to continue to focus on efficiency. That expense is accrual. 4 worker layoffs that Wells Fargo expects to make next year, according to bank spokesperson. The company declined to say how many jobs it will cut. Wells Fargo needs to get more aggressive managing headcount. You know why? It's because of Basel III endgame. This is going to completely eliminate a large chunk of these banking jobs. It's going to completely eliminate them. Wall Street leaders, including Morgan Stanley, James Gorman, said that unusually low attrition among the workers have left them bloated. The industry has been cutting jobs in the past year as it deals with funding costs and prolonged slump in Wall Street deals and concerned over losses. Wells Fargo, the 4th biggest U.S. bank by assets, is already among the most active in laying off workers this year, thanks to, in part, with the entrenchment of their mortgage arena. The bank has cut about 11,300 jobs so far in 2023, or 4.7% of its workforce, and had about 227,000 employees as of September. So you can just imagine how many jobs they're going to be cutting. But when you look at TD Bank, 3,000 jobs, this is just 5 days ago. Then you look at, Goldman Sachs laying off 3,200 jobs. Morgan Stanley, 1,800 jobs in December of 2022. But by the end of June, they added another 3,000 jobs. So, almost 4,800, almost 5,000 jobs just with Morgan Stanley. Bank of America, 7,500 jobs. This is about a month and a half ago. Citigroup, 24,000 jobs, getting ready to lay off 10% of their entire workforce, roughly 24,000 workers, axed. But look at this bank, JP Morgan Chase. They're getting bigger. They're getting tougher. They're going to get massive over the next couple of years, I would bet. And the reason for it is because if you look at their latest buyout, what they've done is they've allowed a small loophole, a small provision, where if a bank enters distress, they are by law allowed to go in there and acquire it. Right? Because if they were to go out there and just start buying up small credit unions and local banks that were not in distress, it would be against the law. But if it's a bank failure, they're able to go out there and acquire these banks. So that's what we're going to be walking into, a wave of bank failures. And Jamie Dimon says private equity giants are dancing in the streets over tough banking rules. He says that executives warned Friday that tougher regulations in the wake of a trio of bank failures this year would raise costs for consumers and businesses while forcing lenders to exit some businesses entirely. So those that have money, those that have access to money, either great credit, really clean financials, or those that are, in the club, they're going to be able to go out there, the wealthy club, they're going to be able to go out there and buy up assets for pennies on the dollar, right? So you're going to want to make sure you're positioned for this as best you can, because this Basel III endgame, it is just what it sounds. I mean, here's a really good example of this. So banks are presently sitting on $1.7 trillion in unrealized losses as of March. So you can imagine where the losses are presently. They're obviously much greater than that. But when you look at this, it says the proposal would also require any bank with assets of $100 billion or more to reflect in their capital calculations any gains or losses in portfolios deemed available for sale as opposed to securities the bank plans to hold until maturity. Current rules require that they calculate only for the bigger banks. The Fed is expected to propose some new rules on bank liquidity early in 2024. So in March of 2020, banks, they had zero reserve requirements. They could lend out all this money. They had basically no rules. It was a free-for-all. It was a madhouse with bank lending. Now they're coming in and rug pulling the entire banking system, saying they're going to have all these rules. This is going to also impact real estate. And here's a really good way it's going to impact not a good way, but here's a really important way in which this is going to impact real estate. This is going to be extremely impactful. The risk weights assigned to mortgages in the proposal exceeded those in Basel Committee standards. Banks have to set aside more capital the higher the loan-to-value ratio in the mortgage. They would have to set aside capital under the operational risk provision for mortgages sold to Fannie and Freddie. When the Fed released the proposals, Fed Vice Chair Barr said, "We want to ensure the proposal does not unduly affect mortgage lending, including mortgages to underserved borrowers." A bank critic notes that banks have been reducing lending on mortgages for decades under existing capital rules, but Laurie Goldman and Jun Zhu of the Urban Institute have written the level of capital the banks would be required to hold against mortgage loans held in the portfolio is excessive, and the LTV, loan-to-value levels, and is likely to further discourage bank mortgage lending. The impact on lending to LMI, low and moderate income borrowers, and communities and to borrowers of color is particularly perverse in the face of efforts in the bank regulators and other government agencies to encourage banks to increase their lending to precisely these borrowers and communities. You're going to start seeing more and more strict lending conditions. And I've been warning about this. This is what's going to happen. We're going to start to see this more and more and more in 2024. Without doubt. There's all of these different provisions. I'm not going to read it all for you, but it's all of these different provisions where banks are essentially getting penalized for issuing loans. And so when you start to see this, how do the credit unions stay in business? How do the mom and pop shops, these small local regional banks, how do they stay in business? They're going to have a hard time doing that, right? So we're going to start to see a situation where, and this apparently was all developed during 2007, 2009, for everybody's safety. So when you start to look at this, you're like, all right, well, who is, the Basel III endgame? What's the committee look like? And I looked at them, I'm like, okay, well, here's, BIS.org. I just searched the first person, right? Based in London. I'm like, okay, well, let's see who this guy is. Oh, there he is, right? So you can see what's going to happen here, right? It's very, very clear what is going to happen. This deadline, July 2025, is right around the corner. We're basically in 2024. Another 2 weeks, we're in 2024. 3 weeks, 2024. In July of 2025, 18 months away, everything is going to be set in motion. So you have to think about this. Banks, every single quarter, are going to get more aggressive to put themselves in a position to where they can move into this in July of 2025, right? So you can just imagine if you have a business and you need loans, you want to square that away now. If you're looking to invest in real estate, maybe you're renting right now, you want to own your own property, you want to position yourself as best as possible to go out there and buy in 2024. Get a 30-year mortgage. If you can't pay cash, get a 30-year mortgage. Put yourself in a really, really strong position to where you can, you can assume the increased insurance costs that will likely be coming. You can assume these costs, but you can hold on to that asset. You want to own hard, real assets moving forward. You definitely want to put yourself in the best position possible to weather the storm, because a lot of people simply aren't. I hear many people say, oh, we're going to go back to 2018, 2019. We're not going back there. That's not going to happen. The world's going to get more challenging, and it's up to all of us to see things clearly. Because a really good saying is smart people see things for how they truly are, and everybody else sees things for how they want them to be. This is what's truly happening. Banks nationwide are all doing the same exact thing. For what reason? It's because we're walking into a massive rug pull on the U.S. banking system. What do you think about it? Drop below, have a conversation about this. If you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself in the best possible way for this great wealth transfer, you don't have much time. You really don't. Position yourself. Don't be one of those people that say, I'm going to set a New Year's resolution. If you want to set a New Year's resolution, you want to start it now. So come New Year's, you're already moving in the right direction. Go to GreatCreditFast.com if you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report. Go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. I recently just hired a couple new employees that are assisting with onboarding calls. They used to work directly with the credit bureaus in the disputing division. So if you have any questions, you don't know, what this would likely look like to fix your credit, you don't really know what to do, book a call with them. It's free. You have a free strategy session at GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description below this video. I'll catch you in the next video.